video, I'm going to talk to you guys about my experience with sleep paralysis and one of the most terrifying things that has ever happened to me my whole life. But before I get to that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave me a like and a comment, follow me on Instagram at Original Asherella, and make sure you hit that notification bell. So, before I get started, if you're not familiar with what sleep paralysis is, it is basically a time in your sleep, like during like your dream cycles, where your mind will wake up but your body is not awake, and so you can't move. Your body shuts down when you sleep, so you don't act out your dreams and things like that. But there can be a gap from when your mind wakes up and your body wakes up. It has something to do with like serotonin levels, I think. You know, I'm not a doctor, I just play one. But I don't know like the actual like details of the science behind it if you want to look that up. But okay, that is what sleep paralysis is. So you wake up, you can think and see and breathe and hear, but you cannot move. I've noticed recently on YouTube a lot of the channels that I really like the Landon Production channels like Most Amazing Top 10 and IO. They recently have done videos regarding sleep paralysis, so I thought I would share my personal experiences with sleep paralysis. So first up, I have experienced sleep paralysis since I was very, very small, like as long as I can remember. I've always had it. Whenever I was a kid, I had a bunk bed in my room, and it didn't have a bottom mattress on it. Like it was actually a bunk bed, but we had done it like loft style. It had like a little desk and stuff under there. But on the curtain rod above my bed was like a clip lamp. And I remember when I was like a really small kid, like waking up in sleep paralysis and thinking, if I could just reach up and turn the lamp on, everything would be okay. And I never told anybody about it. Like it happened to me often, and I never like told my mom. I never talked about it. I wasn't sure what was going on. And to be honest, like after the initial moment, after you come out of it, I really didn't think a lot about it, you know, the next day after it happened or anything like that. But it happened frequently enough. I did kind of start to get worried about it when I was younger, because it was such a weird thing, and like, I mean, you don't know how to process that when you're little. And so for the longest time, I never mentioned it. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't talk about it. Whenever I was in middle school, I was at my dad's house, and my parents are divorced, so I spent the weekend with my dad. I was watching a documentary on like the Discovery Channel or something like that about alien abduction. And that kind of stuff used to fascinate me when I was like a tween and teen. But there was a section in this documentary that talked about sleep paralysis and how many people that experience sleep paralysis think they've been abducted by aliens. And it was like a light went off. I was like, finally I have an explanation for this really weird thing that I've been dealing with my whole life. And so it actually like put my mind at ease a little bit, because I knew I was not the only person that dealt with that kind of thing, and that it was relatively normal, that I was not getting abducted by aliens. Actually, that had crossed my mind as I got into like my tween years, but I didn't think, not seriously, you know what I mean? So I finally, that's the first time I'd ever heard the term sleep paralysis or knew anything about it whatsoever. And I was just randomly watching this documentary on alien abduction. So I finally like knew what it was, and I knew I wasn't the only one. And after that, you know, I started talking about it a little bit more. Like I would bring it up here and there to my friends, and a lot of people would look at me like I was freaking crazy. Like, what? You wake up at night and you can't move, your body is paralyzed? And then some people are like, oh my gosh, that's happened to me before. Nobody I've ever met has experienced it as frequently as I do, but there are other people that it happens to, you know, here and there periodically. Yeah, so that was awesome. Something that goes along with a lot of people that have sleep paralysis is like the hag, or they feel like there is a presence in the room with them. Sometimes people feel like there's like a demonic thing or an old hag like sitting on their chest and like making them feel like they can't breathe or trying to do something bad to them. Luckily, I've never had that kind of thing happen to me regularly. When I was like stuck, that's what like I call it. Like if I wake up and I'm in sleep paralysis, I'm like stuck there. So if I say stuck, that's what I mean. I've never had the presence or the hag or anything like that regularly. I have had a few though, like a few kind of creepy, scary experiences with sleep paralysis. One in particular, I will never forget that feeling as long as I live. It's been a few years now, and I will never ever forget it. Like, it was terrifying, even though this is something that I've been through my whole life. Like I said, I never had to deal with like the creepy, dark side of it, except for a few times. And this one particular time, it was a few years back. I lived in an apartment. It was like a house that was split up into apartments alone, and I was just asleep, and I wake up and I'm like, can't move. But I don't know if it's what woke me up, or right as I woke up, I felt this pressure on my back, and I was laying on my stomach, and I could feel this, and it was so real. It was so real. It was so real. I could feel this hot, wet, growly breath on the back of my neck and on like the back of my ear, and it was so terrifyingly real. I could feel my heart start racing. I couldn't move because I was in sleep paralysis. I did get a little bit panicky. I was trying to like stress, and I feel like the more, like when you're in sleep paralysis, the more you try to like stress your way out of it, like it's not gonna happen that way. You have to relax. But yeah, even though I was laying on my back, I still in my head knew what this thing looked like, and it was like a gargoyle. It wasn't like a, spooky goblin demon. Yeah, it was a creepy looking gargoyle. It wasn't the hag or anything like that, but it was like, it looked like it was kind of made out of stone, but like fleshy stone, and it had wings and claws and like a gargoyle face and horns and everything. And I remember it to this day. Like, it's been a few years, and I still vividly remember that feeling, remember what it looked like, and I'll never forget. It was terrifying. Like, I wasn't in any real danger because it was all in my brain, but it was so scary. It was so scary. A lot of like other cultures, like in ancient cultures, thought that people were possessed that experienced sleep paralysis, or that it was like the devil or demons or evil coming in their sleep whenever they would experience it. Of course, their science wasn't as evolved back then, and there's a lot of legends and things like that surround sleep paralysis, and if you think this is fascinating, you should look up some of that. I did have another kind of funny presence experience, and it scared me like in the moment, but thinking back on it, it's just kind of silly and funny. One time I woke up in sleep paralysis, and there were 3 like super tall aliens, but they were like in cloaks and hoods that looked like they were made out of like hefty bags, and there was a blue, a red, and a green one, and their faces were like typical like pointed oval shape with big black eyes, and they looked like an alien that would be like in a cartoon or on a button you would buy at Claire's. They were not menacing looking aliens at all, but they were super tall, neon blue, red, and green, and I will never forget that. And I just remember thinking like how cheap their cloaks looked. It was a little scary, but a little funny at the same time, and I came out of that one really quick. Now, because I've been going through this so much throughout my life, I've learned a few tricks to try to pull myself out of it quicker. Like, if I increase my breathing, like if I kind of start panting, it will kind of like pop me out of it. I can like move my jaw a little bit, and once I can get my jaw moving a little, I will come out of it quicker, and I can move my pinky finger a little bit whenever I'm in sleep paralysis as well. I'm not sure how I've got to that point, but it's just years of having to deal with it. I have heard lately that you can take some types of antidepressant medicine that will help with sleep paralysis if you experience it. Like, you only have to take it for a little while, and it balances out your serotonin levels. I've not done that. It might be something I look into in the future. I still experience it regularly. Like I said, it goes through phases where it's really bad for a while, and then it'll kind of let up, and then it'll get bad again. But yeah, sleep paralysis, it's a crazy ass thing. I can also lucid dream. I'll do a video about that at some point in time too. Lucid dreaming is where you are aware that you're dreaming, and you can kind of control what you do in your dreams. I can't always do it. I don't always know when I'm dreaming, but sometimes I do, and it's pretty cool. I kind of consider that one of my superpowers. So I'll definitely do a video about that in the future. I hope you guys found this like informative and or entertaining. I know it's a little different than most of my other videos, but that is it. I hope you guys have a great night's sleep tonight. As always, subscribe to the channel, leave me a like and a comment, follow me on Instagram at Original Asherella, hit the notification bell, and keep on slaying like a Saiyan.